Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
I used to believe winter was something outside, a season, a chill, a few extra layers. But that year, winter lived inside my home, inside me. The cold pressed on my chest each morning as I woke in my late husband's old wool coat, the thermostat glowing a merciless 58 degrees Fahrenheit. My fingers were too stiff to turn the dial even if I had wanted to, though I knew it would do nothing. The electricity had become a fickle visitor, disappearing for hours at a time. I shuffled toward the kitchen, praying the fridge had magically filled itself overnight. It hadn't. A jar of mustard and a shriveled apple sat like cruel reminders of what used to be. My stomach twisted. I tried to swallow the shame that rose with the hunger. All this, while my $5,000 pension vanished each month under my daughter-in-law Chelsea's management. "It's easier if I handle the bills," she'd insisted months earlier, smiling with the soft cruelty. "Relax, Mom. I'll take care of everything." Everything, apparently, but me. I lay back on the couch, shivering when the front door burst open. "Mom." My daughter Polly called up to me quietly. She hadn't visited me in 2 years because she lived far away in Eastern Europe. "In here," I whispered, though it barely carried. The grocery bags dropped to the floor when she saw me. "Why is it freezing? Why are you wearing a coat indoors?" I'm trying to conserve power," I murmured, pulling the coat tighter. Polly marched to the thermostat. 58 degrees? "Mom, this is dangerous." "I'm fine," I lied. "No, you're not." Her voice trembled. "How long have you been living like this?" Something inside me broke. Not loudly, but softly, the way ice breaks beneath thin steps. "Too long," I whispered. Polly swallowed hard, her eyes becoming glass. "Mom, who did this?" "Chelsea, your brother Brian's wife," I replied. The truth hung in the air, cold as the room around us. And though I didn't know it then, this was the moment my old life ended, and the battle for my dignity began. Polly didn't just walk through my house. She stormed through it, opening curtains, checking the faucets, touching the icy walls with disbelief tightening her jaw. It was the kind of silence that comes before thunder. "Mom, this isn't living," she whispered, opening the cupboard to find only dust and a half-eaten cracker. She pressed a hand to her mouth, fighting tears. "You're starving." "I'm managing," I murmured. She moved to the fridge next. When she opened it and saw the emptiness inside, her shoulders heaved once, just once, as if holding back a sob. "Where is your pension going?" she demanded. "Chelsea," she said, "she handle things." I didn't want to be a burden. Polly turned to me with a look that nearly broke me. "You could never be a burden. But she took advantage of you." Then her anger sharpened. She grabbed her phone and stepped outside onto the porch. I heard only fragments of the conversation with my son. Fragments that cut deeper than the cold ever had. "She's freezing in there. You let Chelsea take over everything? She lost a lot of weight, for God's sake." When Polly came back inside, she looked both furious and heartbroken. "He said Chelsea told him you were exaggerating," she said flatly. "He won't come." Something inside me crumpled, not from surprise, but from confirmation of what I had feared for months. Polly took my hand gently. "Mom, get your coat. I'm taking you to the hospital. Right now." "Polly." No arguments. Her voice cracked on that last word, and somehow, that hurt most of all. As she led me out of my own home, I realized I hadn't felt warm in months, except now, holding my daughter's hand. The hospital lights felt harsher than the cold I'd left behind, bright enough to expose every secret I'd tried to hide. Nurses fussed around me, taking vitals, lifting my frail wrists, whispering concerns they thought I couldn't hear. Polly stayed by my side, her hand gripping mine as if she feared I might disappear. A doctor finally approached, clipboard in hand, eyes dark with concern. "Mrs. Birch," he said gently, "how long have you been feeling this weak?" "Just age catching up with me," I tried to joke, but even my voice trembled. Polly stepped forward. "It's not age. My mom's been starving. She's been living in a freezing house with no food. Her daughter-in-law has control of her pension." The doctor's expression hardened. After several tests, he returned with results that felt like blows. "You've lost 43 pounds in 6 months," he said softly. "Your vitamin levels are critically low. Your heart rhythm is concerning. This isn't mild malnutrition, this is severe deprivation." I stared at him. words that belonged in news stories, not in my life. Polly choked back a sob. Mom, why didn't you tell me? I looked down at my hands, thin, trembling hands I barely recognized, because I didn't want to believe my own family could let this happen. A social worker came next, her tone gentle but firm. She asked questions, hundreds of them, about money, about food, about who controlled my accounts. Then she sighed, writing something on her form. This is elder violence. The words hit harder than any diagnosis. I felt my chest tighten, not from illness but from heartbreak. Polly squeezed my hand. We're going to stop this, I promise. When they were getting ready to assign me to a hospital ward, I realized something horrifying. If Polly hadn't walked through my door that day, I might never have walked out of my home again. The hospital room became a command center within days. Laptops opened, papers spread across the small table, strangers in suits speaking in low, serious tones. I watched it all from my bed, too weak to stand, yet forced to face the numbers that had quietly drained my life away. A forensic accountant, Ms. Rivera, looked at me with steady eyes. Mrs. Birch, we're going to walk through your finances for the last 2 years, okay? I nodded, though part of me wanted to close my eyes and disappear. Polly sat beside her, arms crossed, jaw tight. I could almost feel the anger vibrating off her. Ms. Rivera scrolled through documents. Your pension is $5,000 monthly. But only $100 to $200 were spent on utilities or groceries. Polly inhaled sharply. That doesn't even cover a week of food. And Ms. Rivera continued, there are recurring transfers, monthly, totaling $3,800 each time. Sent to an account owned by. She paused, almost gently, Chelsea Birch. My breath stopped. Polly's chair scraped violently as she stood. She was stealing from my mother, she said through clenched teeth. Ms. Rivera nodded. Over 24 months, the amount taken is $129,600. I felt the world tilt. Betrayal wasn't just a feeling, it was a physical blow. Why? I whispered. I trusted her. I trusted them. Polly placed her warm hand over my cold one. Mom, she's not getting another cent. By evening, Polly had opened a new bank account in my name. She redirected my pension. She froze all old accounts, and with the help of the social worker, she created a trust to protect everything I had left. For the first time in months, I felt safe. But safety would not stop the storm that was coming. I never imagined the day I would face Chelsea with the truth laid bare, numbers, dates, accusations she could no longer dodge. Polly insisted I stay seated when Chelsea entered the small conference room at the hospital. My heart thudded like it had something to warn me about. Mom, Chelsea said, sugary and trembling, you look better. That hook of false sweetness nearly made me laugh. Ms. Rivera slid a folder across the table. Mrs. Birch, these transfers were made from Astrid's accounts to yours. Can you explain? Chelsea's face drained. I was helping, managing, she asked me to. No, I said quietly. I asked you to care, not to steal. The silence cracked like ice beneath a foot. Polly leaned forward. You left her to starve in a freezing house while you drained nearly $130,000. Chelsea's mask finally shattered. I needed the money. Jason lost his job and you took it from a 74-year-old woman, the social worker cut in. This qualifies as elder financial violence. That word again, violence. But this time, I didn't shrink. 2 police officers entered the conference room, approached Chelsea, and handcuffed her. I watched Chelsea crumble as officers escorted her out, her pleas echoing uselessly down the hall. When the door closed, I exhaled a breath I felt like I'd been holding for years. Polly wrapped her arms around me. It's over, Mom. Chelsea was sentenced to 3 years in prison. For the first time in a long time, I felt warmth, not from blankets or heaters, but from justice, and from finally choosing myself.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.